no deadline, but insist if U.S. troops stay, they will unleash more violent attacks. Kataib Hezbollah is nominally incorporated into Iraq's security apparatus, but has been accused of acting outside the formal chain of command. Massab Al-Alousi joins me by Skype from Doha. He's a critical security professor who specializes in armed groups. Sir, thank you so much for joining us here on Al Jazeera. First of all, the timing, I suppose, is interesting of this. Why do you think this group of militia groups have made this announcement of a ceasefire now? Does the fact that we have U.S. elections literally weeks away have anything to do with it?
Most definitely, Barbara. As you know, in a few months' time, we're going to have U.S. presidential elections. And ever since President Trump took power in the White House, he has been increasing pressure on Iran and his policy, what is called the maximum pressure. He withdrew from the nuclear agreement. He also assassinated General Qasem Soleimani. So at this point, Iran would like to, decrease the tension in hope that, in the White House, they will have, a President Biden that would more likely would apply diplomacy in dealing with Iran instead of Trump.
I suppose at this point, assuming that the Iraqi government even wanted to, it would be almost impossible for them to provide a timetable for the withdrawal of American troops for the very reason that they don't know who the next president is going to be. What do you think this does to Iran-Iraq relations? Because Iraq has obviously been going through a difficult time. Protests against corruption, COVID-19 has hit there quite considerably, the price of oil plummeting as well. What do you think it does to Iraq itself?
Well, it's not going to make lots of difference because, Iraq has a lot of crises, and these are structural problems that it's facing in terms of economy, in terms of the political system, in terms of social relations between the different factions within the society. However, at least it's going to, stop the U.S. from closing its embassy and probably decrease pressure on Iraq because President Trump, as you might know, have also shortened the sanctions waiver on Iraq. So hopefully, at least in the 2-3 months, Iraq would witness somewhat a more stable situation than it faced, the previous years.
Tell us a little bit more about this group, the Kataib Hezbollah group, Iran-backed militia groups, technically part of the infrastructure in Iraq, but not really. Just paint us a picture of the role of this group.
Well, basically, they're affiliated with Iran. They most likely go by Iran's dictates. They do not go by the dictates of the Iraqi prime minister. And it has been a thorn in the back of the Iraqi state for a very long time. And it's very difficult to address this problem because the state of Iraq is very weak in terms of the security apparatus that it has. So this problem is going to, continue with the Kataib Hezbollah or Asab Ahl al-Haq or other militias that are affiliated with Iran because they're basically much more powerful than the security apparatus under the control of the government.
And of course, the mere fact that after all these years, after the U.S. attack and invasion, that there are still American troops in Iraq is an issue in itself. What do you think the worries are from the Iraqi side of what might happen, not if, but when American troops leave?
Well, the problem would definitely be that it's going to be increased Iranian influence in Iraq. And in addition to that, we might see also an increase of tension between the Sunnis and the Shias, especially since you have a lot of Shia militias, taking control of Sunni areas. So there is also a possibility we might see, a rejuvenation of another Sunni group like ISIS or Al-Qaeda. And that would also threaten the state of Iraq and the different communities within Iraq as well.
Massab Al-Alousi, a critical security professor who specializes in armed groups, joining us from Doha. Sir, thank you very much for your time.